Do you have gas and do you have bloating, especially after eating? You could have heartburn and not even know it. You could be developing acid reflux and not know it. You could actually be developing a hiatal hernia, or even more significantly, Barrett's esophagitis, which is a precancerous condition, and not even know it. If you're a chronic belcher, if you're a chronic gas guy, and you know that you're one of those types, we got to figure out what's going on with you, because you could be a ticking time bomb. All right, let's just put it that way. So let's talk about the anatomy of the stomach and how your gas and bloating could be causing this heartburn. Okay? Your stomach, I should say your esophagus, which is the tube leading from your mouth to the stomach. From here, before it gets into the stomach, you have a valve. And that valve is called the lower esophageal sphincter. And that's a one-way valve. So that when your food drops down in here, the food goes through, passes through into the stomach, and then this one-way valve, which opens up, it locks back into place. So the food cannot come back up, all right? It keeps it down in the stomach. And then before the stomach can go, before the food can push into the small intestine, you have the pyloric sphincter, and that keeps the food on the other end of the stomach right there, so that the food can digest properly. Now, if you're building up a lot of gas, or we'll start with burping and belching. If you're getting a lot of air, which is coming back up this way, leading to belching, then you're probably not digesting your food properly, okay? Your food is sitting here, it's rotting. You have low stomach acids. This can happen for a variety of reasons. We're not going to get into that with this video. Just be aware that if you're not digesting properly due to low acids, the food sits here and it rots and it ferments and it builds up gas. And that gas starts to put pressure into and up towards the lower esophageal sphincter. That valve is sitting there, but there's a buildup of pressure pushing up against it. And eventually, we call this a pressure gradient. The pressure above that sphincter needs to be more than the pressure down here. And if the pressure down here is more than the pressure up here, it's going to push through that valve, and then the air is going up. And next thing you know, bloop, you're belching, okay? And if you belch a lot after you eat, independent of what type of food it is, this is very likely the problem. And that pressure gradient is causing you to build up gas. Now, or belching, excuse me. Now, for some people, that valve holds tight. It's strong, and it's really good about keeping that right where it is, okay? But you could be getting gas. So this gas and this buildup of pressure here eventually is actually going to force this pyloric sphincter down in the stomach to blow open. And now you're going to get gas going with that food down the other end, and you get flatulence, okay? What we call gas. This also can be due to low stomach acids, all right? So if that is the case, a stomach problem is your issue. And all this belching that you get, all this gas that you've been getting for years, you've got to fix that problem, okay? And sometimes it's an acid problem, but also your stomach, there's this thing called the squeeze toy effect. So think of it like this. If you don't digest well and you're holding a lot of weight in your midsection, if you're one of these bigger people with more weight, adipose tissue building up, especially if you are sitting down, that fat pushes up in towards the stomach. And that effect of pressure here, plus the fact you don't digest well, that's squeezing the stomach and forcing air either up, again, blowing that top valve open, or the bottom valve out, and you're getting belching or gas. You could also get that from if you have trouble relaxing, if you're a very stressed out person, or if you've got a very stressful lifestyle, your stomach needs to relax when you eat. If you can't relax because of this stressful lifestyle, your stomach stays rigid. These muscles need to relax and do their thing, and there needs to be the ability for the stomach to be able to work and do its job. But if you're stressed, there's pressure, there's rigidity of this. It's the vagus nerve which helps keep it relaxed and getting digestion working properly. When you're under stress, your vagus nerve shuts down, and therefore you get this rigidity in your stomach. And so when you put food in there, you don't get good acid release, you don't get good muscular contraction of the stomach, and things just stay static. That can also cause this squeeze toy effect. And again, belching, gas, either way, okay? So you got to fix that. The other thing that can happen, and again, you can have all of this and not really ever get heartburn or what we call acid reflux. You could just get the gas or the belching. But the worst part about this is that then, if there's this pressure on your stomach, squeezing, you're a little overweight, pressure squeezing, you're not digesting well, and you're building up this gas inside of your stomach. Eventually, this pressure puts enough weight up against that valve that it goes around the valve. The valve is locked in and it's doing its job. But then what can happen is next to, let me erase this, we'll just do this here. You've got what's called your diaphragm. And your diaphragm is sitting right here, all the way across next to that lower esophageal sphincter. And what will happen is your stomach, think of it like it's like a trampoline going all the way across, and that diaphragm raises up when you breathe out and drops down when you breathe in. It's basically helping your lungs expand and contract. But if it sits right above your stomach and the stomach is pushing up against it, but that lower esophageal sphincter is locked in and holding that food in, right next to that, the stomach can actually push up next to that valve. And you get what's called, the stomach will rip through that and push up like this. And you will get a hiatal hernia. And that diaphragm will tear. And now this trampoline's got a hole in the middle of it where the stomach's pushed up through it. And now you have much more likelihood of gas building up, and the lower esophageal sphincter then starts to really become problematic because now there's something next to it putting pressure up next to it. The valve, the anatomy of the valve is damaged, has a much harder time holding in what it needs to, and it starts to leak. It starts to become weaker, and as that does, now you get acids pushing up in there, and now you're starting to get what's called, when these acids push up and they start to damage the sides of the esophagus, it causes scar tissue. That's called Barrett's esophagitis. That is a dangerous condition. That can very easily become cancerous, esophageal cancer, or upper stomach cancer. Okay, hiatal hernias are not to be messed around with. We talk about that on another video, how to address this. Barrett's esophagitis, not to be messed around with. You need to get this checked. If you are a belcher, you are a farter, we need to check you out. As a functional medicine doctor, this is what we do. Gastrointestinal doctors or gastroenterologists, they are looking at some of these things, but they don't do a deep dive into these things. And as a functional medicine doctor, I want to know what is going on with all of this. That's what we do. So today is your lucky day, because what you can do is start the process of finding out what is really going on with your gas and with your belching. If this is going on, we're going to find out for you. At the bottom of this video, there's a link. Sign up for a free call with us. Sit down, talk with us. It's a 15 to 30 minute call. We want to know what's going on with you. See if you're a good fit for what we do. You also might have questions about what we do here in the office. Take care of all of that on that phone call. And let's see if this is where we need to start. And if you are a good candidate, then we move forward. And we start to figure this out. And once we figure this out, we want to work on this, of course, from different angles. But you got to find out first what's actually happening. And if you've got this, and you've got this going on, You might have a major problem going on in your stomach that could become cancerous down the road. Don't let that happen. You've got the opportunity. In the description to this video, there's more information. The bottom line is take advantage of that free call. Get signed up today. We look forward to talking to you.